Good afternoon and welcome back to the farm. As you can see, the weather is betraying me yet again. We've had a beautiful sunny day all day. It's been warm and lovely and just the nicest day. And as we've gotten closer and closer to me getting off work, it's been getting darker and darker, and I expect it to start raining anytime. But I have projects that need to get done, including a pile of lumber there and the bricks for the bee yard, and this box that just came today, which is part of a new project that was not on my list previously. A local homesteading friend of mine asked if she could get pure Bielefelder eggs from me, which I'm happy to do, but because they're in the same run with my Sussex chickens, all of the eggs coming out are mixed breeds, what's called a barnyard mix, because I don't know which eggs are fertilized by James and which ones are fertilized by Henry. So what I need to do is separate the two breeds out, give them 2 weeks to kind of clear the pipes out, and then I'll be able to collect pure eggs from both of them. And purebred eggs go for about $15 a dozen around here, so it's not a bad investment of time. I was going to build a chicken tractor this year, but with the prices of things changing the way they have and being unstable, and knowing my construction skills, I decided it would be better off for me to buy one. And Vever had these metal pipe wire frame coops, and it's got a cover on it and a door and everything. And I think I paid $90 for this, including delivery. So with what I would have spent on lumber and all the supplies to go along with, this was just a much better investment. So we're going to try and get this built so that I can get the chickens separated out tomorrow and then start the clock on that 2 weeks. Shelly wants to get eggs on incubators the beginning of the month. So I'd have just enough time to get that done and get those eggs to her. So let's see how hard this thing is to build. Alright, so that's the frame done in about an hour. That's not too bad. I'm running out of daylight and I have an appointment in about 45 minutes and I gotta make dinner yet. So we're gonna call this for tonight. I'm gonna have Morgan help me carry this out into the back where it's gonna live now. And tomorrow we'll come back and put the screening on it and the tarp over the top. So watch us make fools of ourselves as we take this out to the backyard, and I'll see you here tomorrow. we're back out here with the chickens. It is early in the morning, and the smell of the farmers manuring the fields is ripe in the air. You gotta love spring, but hey, it all means new growth, so that's a good thing. So this morning, I want to get as much of the screening on this done as I can. And I do have a run door that I want to put on that, but I do have to leave for a meeting in about an hour and a half. So let's see how much we can get done in the time that we've got. You touch the garlic, you're done. Beat it. All right. Well, I got the sides, the top, and half the back done, but the rain has started and I've got to get ready for my meeting, so the rest is going to have to wait till this afternoon. Hopefully the weather will improve this afternoon. It's just supposed to be occasional showers today, but every time they've called for that, it's ended up raining all day. So who knows? But the chickens are very happy. They were being very pathetic this morning, so I decided to take pity on them and let them out of the run. The next couple of days are going to be very rough for them, so it doesn't hurt to give them a little bit of a break. All right, I'm going to get to this meeting, and hopefully I'll see you back here this afternoon. Good morning. It's a little bit colder today than it was yesterday, but it is not supposed to rain, so I am going to do my darndest to finish 2 jobs today. I've got to get this coop covered and roosts and whatever set up to move the Sussex chickens in, and I want to finish the darn bridge. So we're going to see how much of that we can get done today. The chickens are very mad at me right now because I'm not letting them out in the yard. Yesterday I took pity on them and let them have free reign of the yard. But today, because I need to be able to pull the Sussex chickens out and put them in the new tractor, I need to keep them all in one place. And the Sussex are going to spend 3 or 4 days just in the tractor because they need to learn that that's their new home, at least for a little while. So if they stay in there, then they'll imprint on that instead of the main coop. And so then at night they'll know to go back in there. And then after that, once I know they're going in there on a regular basis, then I can alternate which of them get to be running around the yard and which ones are going to stay fenced up. This is short term. This is only for a month, 6 weeks. It's not going to be for very long. But at that point, then I'm going to have chicks on brooder in the house. So by the time these guys are ready to go back in the main coop, the house chicks should be ready to come out at least into the coop, into the tractor. And I can kind of move that around until they're big enough to be held in by the fencing, and then they can be out and about. But none of that's going to happen until I get this coop covered. So let's get this wiring done. right, so that's phase one done. It may not be the prettiest job, and this wire isn't the strongest in the world, but it's strong enough. I'm less concerned about things like raccoons and skunks getting in, or raccoons and weasels getting into here, because I am going to have a second line of defense around. I'm going to have another one of these kinds of fences around this, and that will be electrified. So anything trying to get the chickens is going to have to get through that first and then get through this. So we should be okay. Now it came with a tarp and straps to go over the roof, so that will shelter it from the weather today, or in general, from weather from above. But as you could see by my shivering and my hair blowing all over the place, the wind comes right through this way. So I want to put another tarp around at least the side and the back to give them some extra protection from the weather. So I got to do some measurements and run out and get that stuff. I am also freezing. Supposedly it's 45 degrees out, but with that wind blowing, it feels much colder. So my hands are basically numb. It's why I had to use the pliers to tighten some of those zip ties, because I just couldn't grasp them. So I'm going to go inside, get a cup of tea, and decide whether, it's Easter Sunday, so I can't really run into town to get anything. Although maybe I can. I'll check and see if Home Depot is open. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next project. So I'll see you back here in 20 minutes. Thanks to Morgan, we've got the roof covered, so that's all set. I got just your basic blue tarp. I think I paid $10 for this. It is 6 by 8, and each side is 6 foot 4 inches. So it's going to be a little short, but with the bungees I got, it should flex well enough to give decent protection. Now it's about 4 feet tall, so I'm going to cut this in half to get the 4 feet by 6 feet, and then I'll have two, one for this side and one for the back, which should give them plenty of shelter. Issue I have with this is that there aren't enough grommets. I was hoping that there were going to be grommets closer to where I cut it off, so that I could attach the lower part that way. Actually, I wanted to have the set-in grommets at the bottom so I could attach that to the bottom rail, and then the top I would just attach at the corners, and it didn't need the middle because there isn't a pole there, it's just this wire, and I really don't want to put a lot of pressure on that wire. But no such luck. We're going to try it this way. I may decide to lower these so that the grommets that are attached are closer to the ground. So that's going to provide a little bit more protection. But we'll give this a shot. The wind, like I said, blows straight this way. So theoretically, it should be blowing the bottom on that side right up against the wire. So it shouldn't be an issue. But we'll have to see how it works out. All right, I need to get the roosting bars in here and a nesting box. Let's see what we can find. So this is now set up with everything they should need. I'm really happy. The supports I put under the roost are actually bring it right up to the level of those grommets on the tarp. So even though the wind will be blowing under them, it won't be blowing on them when they're roosting at night. And I'm 95% sure at least one of them's going to try and roost on the food bucket, because that's what they did last year. So, and the nesting box is all nice and cozy, which again, I'm sure somebody's going to roost on top of that as well. But that gets us started. So now all that's left to do is put some chickens in here. Henry, come on. happy for a few days because they really want to get back to their coop. But they'll be okay in a couple of days. They'll be fixated enough on this space that when I put the fence up, they should be okay to be in their run and interacting with these guys so they don't forget who the other ones are. So when it's time to reintroduce them, I shouldn't have to do it gradually. I should be able to just move them into the coop one night and it'll be fine for going forward.